Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man who finds out about his wife's infidelity. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. Greetings friends. I, 44 male, have been married to my wife, 44, for 19 years. We actually met in high school and were high school sweethearts. Now, for this story to make sense to you all, a few things must be noted. The first is that my wife and I live together, and I'm the breadwinner for the house. She hasn't worked a job in about 7 years, which I never had a problem with as I make plenty. But this does mean that I'm away from the house for about 9 hours 5 days a week. The other thing that's important to note is that I've always been known around town as a guy with a cool car. I've gone through a few of them, but I love bright-colored muscle cars, and people often compliment me on them, and sometimes ask to buy them off me. Our story begins when, one day, people start asking me about my new car, asking if I sold the old one. This was very confusing for me, as I've not gotten a new car. I've been driving this one for about 3 years now. I asked them why they would think that I had gotten a new one, and they told me that they had seen the new one parked in my driveway a few times, so they assumed I had gotten a new one. This immediately set warning bells off in my head, as I know none of my friends have brightly colored muscle cars. I asked them when the last time they had seen it, and they said 2 days ago. Dinner that night felt like torture if I'm completely honest. I wanted to ask my wife what was going on, but I didn't say anything. I needed to see this with my own eyes to truly believe. The following day, I left in the morning as I always did, but this time I drove around to the road behind my house that no one uses, as it leads to a housing development that is unfinished, so no one lives there yet. I waited all day and nothing. I arrived home the way I normally would and acted like nothing was out of the ordinary. But something inside of me just wouldn't let it rest. The following day, I did the same thing. Got dressed like I was going to work and went out the back to the dead-end road. It took about 2 hours, but lo and behold, a guy in a white sports car pulls into my driveway and enters my home. My blood was boiling, but I waited not long, but long enough. I entered my house and heard scrambling. I found my wife naked. She claimed she was doing laundry and that she had taken her clothes off to wash them. Then asked what I'm doing at home so early. I ignored her and began searching the house. It didn't take me long to find the scumbag, hiding in a closet, naked. I grabbed him by the arm, I'm a sizable guy, and tossed him out of the house. My wife was saying something, but I have no idea what. She followed me to the door as I threw the guy out and closed the door on her, leaving them both outside. I locked all of the doors, leaving them both outside, completely naked, which meant they couldn't call anyone or get in his fancy car. I turned up my stereo full blast so I couldn't hear them screaming to let them back in, and began the process for filing for divorce. Eventually, the police came and asked me what had happened. I told them that I couldn't hear them banging on the door because the stereo was up so high, and that they must have slipped out to hide from me coming early and gotten locked out. The officer, whose son happens to be on the youth basketball team I coach, issued them both a citation for indecent exposure. Between them being stuck outside and the police report, the whole town knows she's an S-slang and he's the type to sleep with someone else's wife. The divorce is in the process of happening, so I'm not sure how it'll go. But for the time being, it looks like I'll be keeping the house, as I'm the one who paid for it. Either way, I'm glad, for the town's at least on my side. Update. The divorce was just settled. She's moved back in with her parents. I'm keeping the house, but I'll need to pay her alimony for a number of years, but I'm fine with it. Since we have no kids, I don't have to pay any child support. I have no idea what happened to him other than he left her, but I have a feeling he's mad his reputation got dragged through the mud during all this. Serves him right in my opinion. I guess the ultimate lesson for her is don't cheat when you have a husband who pays for everything for you. And the lesson for him is don't sleep with another man's wife when you have such a nice car. As for me, I don't know what the lesson is, but I'm relatively fit for a man my age, have a nice car, a solid job, and a home I own. I have a feeling I'm gonna be okay. You're right, OP, you're gonna be okay. You sound like a great person and anyone would be lucky to have you. Sadly, your marriage ended the way it did, but I'm glad you found out about your wife's infidelity and she wasn't able to hide it. Not that she was hiding it anyway, because they were having an affair in your home. It's like she was begging to be caught. You deserve someone who wouldn't cheat on you, OP. I hope you find that person soon. Story 2. So, I need some advice. Some serious advice. I'm a 29-year-old male. For the past week, I felt something was off about my wife. Acting a little odd, I don't really know how to explain it, but I had a gut feeling something was going on. I woke up early to sign on to work and just felt compelled to look through her phone, something that I do not do. I found that my wife has been sleeping with a guy for a week now and found pics and messages on Snapchat. I'm distraught. I told her immediately that I want a divorce. All day now she's been crying and begging me to stay with her. I just don't think I could ever trust her again. The problem is, we have a 7-year-old girl together. My daughter is the love of my life, and I really don't want her to suffer at all. Has anyone here gone through this before? Do you have any advice? I love my wife, but I honestly don't think I could be with her anymore. Maybe it's because it's the first day and I can't get those images out of my head. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm scared. Any help would be appreciated. She said because someone gave her some attention, that it was only physical, nothing emotional. To bring more to the story, the past 3 years she's suffered from extreme anxiety. She couldn't work, couldn't drive, and would rarely help around the house. I helped her through those years and finally got her to drive again 2 months ago. I got her a job and then helped her realize everything that's going on in her head. I honestly think she did it because she can. That she finally got some independence and went wild. I'm not making excuses for her, I just understand. It doesn't make it hurt less. Update. So, for a quick update, she slept on the couch last night. It seems she was up most of the night and cleaned the house from top to bottom. She also wrote me a letter trying to justify her actions, saying there was no excuse for what she did, but that we drifted apart. She decided to be honest and open, and also gave me a timeline of the affair with evidence. It was only a week long and they met twice with one leading to sex. What kills me is that it was premeditated. She is hardcore trying hard to stay with me. She finally agreed to leave the house and stay with her parents for a few days. I told her I'm going to continue on the path of divorce. I said she's more than welcome to try and prove she's worth keeping, but it's a long shot. I told her that every time I look at her, I see the last message she sent to that guy. It's burned into my mind. He sent a dick pic, and she responded, "OMG, I need it in me now." I'm still just as confused as I was before. I keep going on the path that maybe it can work out. It seems she is sincere, but how can it be sincere when just over 24 hours ago she sent him that text? I keep having to pull myself back to divorce. I still look at her with disgust. I'm afraid that my anger will burn out and I'll take her back. I decided I am going to call a lawyer tomorrow and figure out the next steps. She also told her family what she did and they ripped her a new one. Made me feel a little better. I think I need a few days apart from her so I can truly realize how bad she is for me. I really appreciate all the luck and love that's being thrown my way. All the advice has helped me greatly, but I'm still clouded in my thoughts. We told our daughter that we'll be splitting up. She cried a little but seemed to take it better than I thought. I made sure to emphasize it's not her fault in any way, shape, or form. OP. Many men can tell you they regret giving the gift of reconciliation to a cheating wife. There aren't many men that I have met that have regretted divorcing a cheating wife. Their only regret was not having divorced them as soon as they learned about the cheating. A genuine reconciliation can take anywhere from 2 to 5 years, and the marriage still may fail. What your wife chose to do wasn't a mistake or an accident. It was a risk, and many lies and decisions had to be made. This likely won't be the last time either. Cheaters get better at hiding their affairs. Do you really want to look over your shoulder for the foreseeable future? That time could be better spent building a stable and happy future for you and your daughter. You won't forget the last text she sent to him ever. If you have made the choice to divorce, it's the right choice. She made her choice too, and it wasn't you or your daughter when she decided to cheat. Now for some comments. She was begging and feeling guilty just because she got caught. And common tell her before going into sex you have to create emotions so it's not just for the sex. He had something which made her to forget that she's married and she has a husband. Think yourself, what if you didn't catch her? Did she have any intention to tell you that whatever she was doing? Of course no. I think you're doing good. Go for divorce. Good luck. We all want things back as when we got married, but the reality is that after a cheating spouse, things can never go back to being the same. The trust never comes back. Same stories, same excuses. And after 20 plus years of the divorce being finalized, I still have nightmares about it. And all because I tried to save the marriage, caught her 2 more times, and realized I had to go. You should not stay because of the kids. That damages the kids more than having their parents separated but happy. The ghost of infidelity is mean. So think very well about what you want to do. Cool down your head. Just remember that she's not who you think she was. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been surprised or hurt by her action. Walk away. You will always have doubt. You will always be wondering, is she with him now? Every time she's out or on her own without you. I don't care what she says or what excuse you make up for her. She did what she did, and as much as you would have believed she wouldn't cheat the first time, she will do it again given the right circumstances. In fact, she would still be sexing him up right now if you hadn't caught her. Remember the excitement in her text when she replied to that dick pic. OMG, I need it in me right now. That was genuine desire, and it was not desire for her husband. Let that sink in. Stop listening to her words and listen to her actions. People's actions will always speak much more loudly than their words. Always remember that, and also, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.